Well, as we know, motivation plays a big role in pretty much anything we want to achieve in life. Our next guest says that combining both your skills and experience and also passion for what you do makes a big difference when it comes to sustaining this motivation. RJ Ayer is CEO of PropertyDirector.com and joins us now to tell us all about motivation. Hello to you. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks.
So firstly, tell us about motivation. Before we talk about your business, what's your experience around this? Why do you think motivation is so important for us?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think combining two things. One is what you're good at with what you're kind of passionate about is really important, particularly when you're running a startup business. So I started my business, PropertyDirector.com.au, a couple of years ago. And I think what was important for me was to combine those two things, what I'm good at with what I'm passionate about, because I'm, very aware that running a business is really hard work. And you're going to have a lot of hurdles, and you need something to kind of keep you going and keep you motivated. There's inevitable kind of ups and downs. So I think that's kind of what I learned, early on. I've just tried to apply that to anything that I try to do that's worthwhile.
Yeah, nice. I like it. I like talking about the personal stories behind how someone started their business. So let's talk about propertydirector.com.au. Where did the idea come from? Was it a gap in the market or a problem you wanted to solve?
Yeah, a couple of those things. So it's a propertydirector.com.au. It's an online platform built for property investors. So I started it with two other business partners about 3 years ago. So as a property investor myself, I was lucky enough to start when I was quite young. So I was able to build up a pretty decent portfolio since I got my first full-time job, and I got very passionate about it and did fairly well with it. That kind of combined with my background and in my profession as in technology and as a project manager is kind of the reason that I got into it. And there was definitely a gap in the market. We're all aware of realestate.com.au and domain.com.au, which is basically property listing services. But I noticed there was nothing really out there specifically dedicated to property investors. So that's the reason I kind of built up the business. And there's over 1.7 million property investors in Australia. So that was kind of the gap in the market. So it's not small and it's not absolutely massive either, but there's definitely a market out there.
Tell us about some of the challenges of running your own business. And also, I'm interested to hear about how competitive this side of things is. You broke down some of the numbers there in terms of how many investors there are. Who are you up against and what makes you different to sort of rise above that, competitive nature?
Yeah, the hurdles for me has really just been around marketing because we're a small business. We don't have like a massive marketing budget or anything like that. So we tried a few different things like advertising on YouTube and LinkedIn, etc. But for us, it was more just building just one-to-one relationships with other property investors, meeting them at events, just talking to people, etc. So in terms of competition in this space, to be honest, there's not too much out there in terms of what we provide, which is we provide a full-blown digital bookkeeping system, forecasting tools, and research reports covering all suburbs in Australia. There's competitors out there who do bits and pieces of that, but no one really brings it all together. So there are digital bookkeeping system platforms. There's things like Xero, which are just accounting platforms. But what we do is we cater specifically for property investors. But in terms of the hurdles and challenges, it's more about just convincing people who we target are basically very successful people. So I can't go and do a sales pitch to them because they're going to be very skeptical. They'll already be pretty established in the habit. So it's more about demonstrating the platform, having opportunities to show them the value, and anyone we've shown the platform to love it. So it's more about just convincing them, and then they'll go and tell their friends and their networks.
And just to finish, tell us more about the customer base and also your plans for the future. Who would you recommend or encourage out there to touch base and get involved?
Yeah, sure. So for us, it's pretty simple. Our market is property investors. So anyone who's looking to get into the market, or who's got maybe 5 investment properties, or I've got 60 or more. I've got one businessman who uses my platform. He's got 60 investment properties all throughout Australia. So that's one example. But people who are just looking to research and maybe get into the market, we've got a deal calculator tool, a deal analyzer, sorry, allowing you to forecast the value of any property before you purchase it, both the cash flow and the capital growth, because we buy the data from Price Finder and other really good data suppliers. So basically anyone who's looking to get into the market, even first home buyers who are looking to research suburbs. It's a high value platform because, we don't charge as much as some of the major suppliers, but, we provide the quality and the value that they need. In terms of what we're looking to do in the future, we're looking to build more innovative forecasting tools. Like investors like to play out different kinds of scenarios, like what happens if I buy a property 5 years from now, what happens if I pay my loan early, etc. So, and also potentially building up a community, like a forum, where investors can share their stories, and maybe even building like a property director game for high school students, etc. So they can actually, simulate scenarios and actually get them some education as well. So yeah, we've got a lot of different ideas coming up.
Awesome stuff, mate. And I mean, I'd ask you where the best place to go is, but I imagine it is the website.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just go to the website, propertydirector.com.au. We've got a free 7-day trial. So I encourage you to check it out, add your properties, and you can also forecast it as well. The 7-day trial gives you the forecasting capability as well.
Awesome stuff, mate. Love the energy and the story. We'll talk to you again soon, okay? Enjoy your afternoon.
Thanks very much. Cheers. Bye.